Please welcome to the stage Explorer Chief Dutch Revelle from the Fort Worth, Texas Police Department.
The tragic shootings that occurred in our sister city of Dallas last week serve to remind us of the inherent dangers of law enforcement and the risk that brave police officers of our nation face each and every day while protecting the public they serve and our democracy. I ask you all to stand and join me in a moment of silence as we remember and honor our fallen brethren. Senior Corporal Lauren Ahrens, Officer Michael Kroll, Sergeant Michael Smith, Officer Brent Thompson, Officer Patrick Zamaripa. May they rest in peace. Please remain standing. I kindly ask all uniformed personnel to render and hold a hand salute during the playing of taps. Taps, by tradition, represents finality. Please lower hand salute following taps, but remaining standing for the playing of Amazing Grace that, by tradition, represents hope. Hand salute. Thanks to Arizona DPS Captain Philip Johnson for playing taps, and thanks to CBP Supervisory Officer Christopher Sherry for playing Amazing Grace. There are 2 large memorial banners on the hallway I ask you to sign, along with any words of condolences, today or tomorrow and Wednesday, when they will be located in the career fair. These banners will be sent to the Dallas Chief of Police and the Dallas Dark Chief of Police following the conference. Thank you.
Thanks. Our program this evening will continue with the presentation of the colors, followed by Sabrina leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and performing the national anthem is Explorer Shanti Merritt of Post 1490, sponsored by the Nassau County, New York Police Department. Our contingent of 50 law enforcement explorers from Post 1000, sponsored by Nassau County, New York Police Department, will serve as our flag bearers and our color guard.
Hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready? 2.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color Guard, you may retire. Please be seated. How about one more round of applause for the outstanding job by the Color Guard flag bearers and Explorer Shanti Merritt. Also, we would like to thank United States Customs and Border Protection agents SBPA Nathan C. Hinman, SBPA Carlos Alfaro, and BPA Philip Luna, BPA Dominic Dedavis for bringing in the American flag in from above. Thank you. Here to introduce our conference chair is Mike Prout, who serves as the Vice Chair for National Events of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee. Mr. Prout is an Assistant Director and 24-year veteran of the United States Marshal Service. He currently leads the Witness Security Division, directing the security component of the United States Witness Security Program, frequently referred to as a witness protection. Mr. Prout is an Eagle Scout and a long-serving member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee. Please welcome to the stage, Michael Prout.
Hello, Explorers. Hello, Explorers. I still can't hear you. Hello, Explorers. Much better. Thank you very much. Good evening. I am so excited. I don't know if you saw me before. I was standing down here staring up into the forest reaches of the back row to see smiling, happy faces of explorers and their advisors. So thank you so much for attending this evening, and I look forward to a great week. More importantly, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our 2016 National Law Enforcement Exploring Conference Chair, Colonel Frank Milstead. On February 10th, 2015, Colonel Frank Milstead was selected by Governor Ducey to lead the Arizona Department of Public Safety. From 2010 to 2015, Colonel Milstead served as the Chief of Police of Mesa, Arizona. Prior to Mesa PD, he served 25 years with the Phoenix Police Department. During his tenure with the Phoenix Police Department, Colonel Milstead demonstrated highly successful leadership and management skills, serving in several high-profile positions that included command positions in the Homeland Defense Bureau, Major Offender Bureau, and the Traffic Bureau. He also served in the Unified Command Structure for Super Bowl 42 and the 2009 NBA All-Star Game. Colonel Milstead comes from a law enforcement family. His father, Colonel Ralph Milstead, served as the director of the Arizona Department of Public Safety from March 1980 through July 1989. Actually, after he did 25 years on Phoenix Police as well. Colonel Milstead holds a bachelor's degree in organizational management from the University of Phoenix, is a member of the Major City Chiefs Association, the IACP, and the Arizona Association of Chiefs of Police. He is a board member of the FBI National Executive Institute, the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission, the Rocky Mountain Information Network, and a board member for the Genesis Academy for At-Risk Youth. Explorers, advisors, and guests, please welcome Colonel Frank Milstead.
I actually thought I was going to get the wave. No wave? Welcome, explorers, and welcome to Arizona. Thank you for being here. It's a very interesting time in our country when police are scrutinized and looked at by the media every day. Why you are important and what makes this profession important is a servant mentality, a mentality that you want to give something back to your community. You want to make the place that you live better, safer. All of those things matter. But to have a long, successful career in law enforcement, no matter if it's at the federal, state, county, municipal level, you have to prepare. And I want to talk just for a couple minutes about preparation. Most of what I learned about preparation came from riding a mountain bike. I spent a lot of time on a mountain bike. It's what I do to stay healthy. It's what I do to clear my head. But before any long ride, I make sure that I prepare. I eat right, I exercise, I stay fit, I bring tools with me, I bring water to hydrate, because I never know what's going to happen during the adventure while I'm out on the bike. It's very similar to law enforcement. If you stay in shape, you exercise, you eat right, and you prepare for that extra long day, you won't get caught short. The next thing you need is momentum. Momentum comes because there's obstacles in your way, and obstacles come every day in a law enforcement career. And on a mountain bike, if you have a little momentum, a little speed, you can roll through a lot of troubles, a lot of obstacles. It all starts with that preparation. But when you come to an obstacle that is too much for you to handle the first time, I don't just walk the bicycle up and go, oh, well, I couldn't do that. I go back down to the bottom, I go back to the start, and I do it over and over and over again until I can accomplish the task. That is what will make you an excellent police officer as well, is when you find something that you can't do it over and over and over again until you become expert. It separates you from everyone else. The other thing you have to remember is sometimes the obstacle will be dangerous. There will be something where the cost of failure is incredibly high. And on a mountain bike, that usually ends with a trip to the emergency room, and I've been there on a number of occasions. But if you take time to look, to plan, or to call for backup or someone else to help you, spend a few more minutes, that risk begins to diminish. The most important part of being expert at riding a mountain bike, other than the training, the preparation, and doing things over and over again, and one of the most humbling things you'll ever do is you clip your feet into the pedals of the bike and you become part of the bike. It's very unnerving in the beginning because you can't just easily remove your feet if you start to fall or if you find yourself at some unusual obstacle. I call that clipping in. If you want to be expert, you want to be better, you need to clip in. You need to be part of the structure. You need to make a commitment. And I want to talk about commitment because I know you all made them to get here today. But if you clip in and you're not just pedaling with a flat pedal where you can only push with your quadriceps, but you can actually pull with your hamstrings and make those circles, you have a lot more power, a lot more ability to do things that you couldn't do with a flat pedal. And if you clip into your agency, you become part of the structure of that department that you represent, that community that you stand for, the organization in which you wear their badge. You can be expert. You can be better than the next person. It's commitment. And that is why you are here today. I know that some of you got into a bus or a van on the other side of the country and you drove 24, 30 hours to get here. To be here tonight in Flagstaff, Arizona, to be part of this community. The camaraderie, the games, the sportsmanship, the competitive nature in which all of us have. But most important for you, with that commitment, is making good life decisions. Don't let anybody tell you it doesn't matter. They do matter. Don't close doors, leave them open so you can have a long career in law enforcement. It doesn't really take a whole lot of mistakes to jeopardize your ability to go through a background and to become a law enforcement officer. You guys are all committed or you wouldn't be here. You all want to be excellent or you wouldn't compete. Looking in this room, I'm reassured that the future for law enforcement is bright, and it's because of you in this room who will represent your communities, your agencies, and your families at the highest level. Thank you for being in Arizona. Thanks for caring. Thanks for wanting to have a career in law enforcement, and I look forward to seeing you in the field of play.
Well, before you leave, Colonel Milstead, we would like to present to you a plaque for appreciation for everything that you do for us. It's an honor to have you here, and we'd like to introduce to you this plaque as a token of our appreciation for everything that you do. Thank you.
We are honored to have with us tonight several distinguished law enforcement leaders and other honored guests. I wish to introduce them to you at this time. I ask our guests to stand and face the audience behind them for a moment as I call your name. Please remain standing until all introductions have been made. To the explorers, please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Doug Coleman, Special Agent in Charge, Drug Enforcement Administration. Guy Cottrell, Chief Postal Inspector, U.S. Postal Inspection Service. Michael DeLeon, Special Agent in Charge, FBI. William Fallon, Deputy Director, Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. G.T. Fowler, Chief, Northern Arizona University Police Department. Bob Garrity, FBI and retired FBI and longtime member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee. David Gonzalez, United States Marshal for the District of Arizona of the United States Marshal Service. Brian Klimakowski, Under Sheriff, Ocean County, New Jersey Sheriff's Office. Grant Edwards, Commander of the Americas, the Australian Federal Police. Fidencio Rivera, Chief Deputy United States Marshal, U.S. Marshal Service. Alan Rodbell, Chief of Police, Scottsdale, Arizona Police Department. Brian Archambault, retired National Director of Law Enforcement Exploring and board member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Alumni Association. Brian was the first full-time director for Law Enforcement Exploring. Let's give all these law enforcement leaders and honored guests a big round of applause.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2016 National Law Enforcement Exploring Conference. As a lifelong Scouter and immediate past president of the Boy Scouts of America, I am well aware of the amazing history and great success of law enforcement exploring. For the past 57 years, this program has served as a foundation for thousands of young adults who have gone on to successful careers in law enforcement, many of whom have served as chiefs, sheriffs, or in command staff positions. My guess is many of the advisors and leaders in the audience tonight started their careers as law enforcement explorers. I want to challenge every explorer here this week to take full advantage of all this conference has to offer. Your futures are bright, and the law enforcement profession will be in good hands for generations to come. Have a great week and enjoy the conference.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Gil Krolkowski, Commissioner of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the Chair of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee. While he is coming on stage, let me tell you about his impressive career in law enforcement. Commissioner Krolkowski was nominated by President Brahma and sworn in on March 7, 2014, as the Commissioner of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, taking the helm of the 60,000 employees with a budget of $12.4 billion. CBP is the largest law enforcement agency in the United States. Commissioner Krolkowski oversees the dual U.S. Customs and Border Protection mission of protecting national security objectives while promoting economic prosperity and security. As Commissioner, he runs the largest federal law enforcement agency and second largest revenue collecting source in the federal government. Most recently, he served as Director of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. Commissioner Krolkowski brings 4 decades of law enforcement and drug policy experience to this position. He formerly served 9 years as the Chief of Police for Seattle, Washington, when he left crime was at its lowest point in 40 years. Previously, he was Deputy Director of the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, where he was responsible for more than $6 billion in federal assets. Commissioner Krolkowski was also Police Commissioner of Buffalo, New York. The majority of his law enforcement career was in Florida, where he served in the St. Petersburg Police Department. He was elected twice to be president of the Major Cities Chiefs, which represents the largest city and county law enforcement agencies in the United States and Canada. He has received numerous awards and recognitions for leadership, innovation, and community service. He served in the U.S. Army, where he was awarded the Presidential Service Badge. Commissioner Krolkowski holds a bachelor's and a master's in criminal justice from the University of South Florida. Explorers, advisors, and guests, please join me in giving Commissioner Krolkowski a warm welcome to show our appreciation for his support for law enforcement exploring.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you. And I want to thank Cindy for that very short introduction. You can tell that I'm very proud of her and the work that she has done, particularly not only with the Chicago Office of Customs and Border Protection and the Office of Field Operations, but also as your national spokesperson. I also want to make special mention that during the time that Colonel Milstead, my partner in this endeavor today, visited so many of the explorers, I want you to know that I did see him on the bicycle, and he took the over 50 age category trophy home, so it was very impressive. Well, the events, let me pause for just a minute because we can't shy away from the events that have occurred most recently in Dallas. but also, as Colonel Milstead and others have remarked, the events that have occurred in policing across this country over the last several years. It is, as he said, and as I say to you, it is a difficult and a challenging time. But I think I can also clearly say to you, as I end my 40-year career in law enforcement, that it is one of the most fulfilling and satisfying careers that anyone could ever choose. I've had a range of assignments and a range of diverse experiences, and I can tell you that when I leave this profession, sadly, at the end of this year, I will miss it a great deal. But I look back on it as one of satisfaction, as one of being a public servant, and I couldn't be more proud of the profession that I represent today. Well, let me tell you, the moving tribute to the Dallas police officers and the tribute to other officers that have given and sacrificed their lives in the line of duty was very impressive. I can't be more proud of the organization that I currently lead for the last 2.5 years, the United States Customs and Border Protection, the largest law enforcement exploring contingent coming out of both our United States Border Patrol, and you saw some of our Border Patrol members. They're part of the Border Patrol tactical team, and you saw them deliver the flag of our country for this stirring occasion. Well, it's been very important. It's been very trying also for law enforcement, but you're the people that are going to make the difference. You're the people that we have so much faith in. We have so much pride in what you do. I am very proud also, not only of you and the accomplishments and the fact that you have taken on this role of public servant and this role of responsibility, but I'm also extremely proud of your advisors. These are folks who, as you well know, have lots of other jobs, lots of other responsibilities, whether it's as a trooper here in Arizona or with the Sheriff's Department or the Phoenix Police Department. They have other jobs, and yet they want to make the time to be an advisor to you, to be a mentor to you, and to be a role model to you. And then hopefully in the future, as you progress in your careers and you progress in raising your families, you will do very much the same thing that you're seeing these advisors do, and that is giving something back. Well, let me mention a couple other things to you also that I'm just very proud of. One is the relationship, because we're here in Arizona, that the United States Customs and Border Protection has with the state of Arizona, and particularly the Department of Public Safety. It's our job to secure the borders. It's our job to make sure that trade flows freely. And it's our job to make sure that people that enter this country are welcomed, but that those people that might enter this country to do harm are returned or not, or are apprehended. We have an incredibly good relationship with the state of Arizona and the Department of Public Safety. And we see this over and over again when you see all of these law enforcement agencies here this week at all of the different levels, working together, cooperating, communicating, and they really only have one goal, and that is to make sure that you have the very best week that you can have in law enforcement exploring. You know, I'm very proud also of the work that Customs and Border Protection does, not only in securing our borders, but in being that mentor to youth organizations throughout the country. So as my friend, Secretary Gates, the former director of the CIA, and now back as a resident and retired, although still quite active, as a resident of the state of Washington, where I served for many years as the police chief, his words are very important. His words are very important to all of you. In the public perception of law enforcement, I can tell you after this many decades that we've been through some difficult times. We have been through challenges. And as Director Patrick from FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, and I were remarking, we have made a tremendous amount of progress, and we have made many steps forward. Our cities and communities are safer today. People want to invest in those communities, and it's because of the work of law enforcement, and it's because of the work that you'll do in the future if you decide to choose a career in law enforcement. But if you don't, your experience in exploring is incredibly helpful and important. You will go back into whatever profession you choose, and you will know more about law enforcement than perhaps you might see on the evening news. You will know more about the men and women who were your advisors and the people that you worked with, and you will know, as really the public does today, that they trust law enforcement and that they depend on law enforcement. So this is an incredible opportunity for us to be with you, to recognize you, to thank you for what you're doing, and certainly to thank your advisors. With that, we have somebody that's very special to us and someone that we would like to recognize, and we would like to call up on stage for that recognition, and that's Bill Taylor. So I'll ask Bill to come up, and I want to remark just a little bit about him. He's the National Director of Exploring, and for the past 8 years, I hope that's him. As you get older, you get a little slower, but listen, he's on his way up here. Well, Bill, in the last 8 years, come on over. Congratulations. Bill, in the last 8 years, has been serving on the professional staff as an advisor to the Exploring program, and he's worked closely with the committee that I chair. He has done a great job for Exploring as the national director, and he has worked to increase the support for Exploring posts across the country. And we've really seen that take off under his leadership and under his hard work. And Bill will be taking on new duties in the Learning for Life family, but I know he's going to continue to support law enforcement Exploring and the youth serving programs in that organization. We wish him well for his dedication and his friendship. And on behalf of all of us, please accept a token of our appreciation for all that you have done. Thank you, Bill. A round of applause for Bill. I think you just got the wave, too. But let me also close by saying that we have someone who is going to take his place and is going to do an equally fine job with her level of enthusiasm and her level of commitment. Kristen Falatko is the new director of Law Enforcement Exploring. Kristen, wave to everyone. Well, thank you all for allowing me to be here with you and to watch the great work that you're doing. Thank you.
Wait, before you leave, we just want to say thank you very much for everything.
Well, thank you.
Your comments.
All right, thank you all.
Rarely do we have the opportunity to meet and to listen to one of the #1 professionals of the Boy Scouts of America, the parent organization for Exploring. Please help me welcome Chief Scout Executive Michael Serbo.
A little bit earlier, you got a chance to see a great video by Dr. Robert Gates. And Dr. Gates was the guy that hired me as the Chief Scout Executive of the Boy Scouts of America. And one of the first people that he wanted to talk to me about was Commissioner Gil Kurlikowski. And he said, Gil is somebody that doesn't take a job on in name only. He's one that gives it his heart and soul. And he said, pay attention and watch what he does. And anytime Dr. Gates would give me advice, I paid very close attention, because you think about it, a guy that still has probably a lot of black helicopters under his command, you want to pay attention. Now tonight, some other people that you should pay attention to is everybody down here on the floor. I would encourage you this week, get to know these people. These are some amazing leaders of our nation's security. If you listen to their resumes, these are people that could change your life. These are relationships that you could build that might alter the course of your destiny. So take some time and get to know them, because there's some people that have tremendous talent, leadership, and commitment that are the backbone of the Law Enforcement Exploring program. I'd like to mention a few people that you should try to get to know this week. Kent Jeffries. Kent is the Vice Chair and Liaison for the development of the National Committee. Michael Knight, National Committee member. Anye White, National Committee member. Paul Vanderplow, who's a member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Conference Steering Committee. Michael Prout, you met Michael a little bit earlier, Vice Chair for National Events. And Veed Musniks, retired Chief of Police. Don't waste a minute of this conference, because this is the time that you can build and forge those relationships, and the relationships that will stand the test of time, because the people in this room are a little bit different. You know, I'm a resident of Dallas, and if you were there in the last week, you gained a different appreciation for law enforcement. And the appreciation that you gained is that sometimes you take things for granted, and sometimes you pass by someone in uniform and you don't immediately think, this person is protecting me and keeping me safe. That's what the residents of Dallas realized this week, is that we have to every day have grateful appreciation for those that put their lives on the line. Now take just a minute and look to the person on your left. All of you, just look to the person at your left. Now look to the person on your right. Someday your life might depend on that person. Do they have your back? You want them to have your back. Some of you are laughing, some of you are a little nervous. I understand that. Build them up this week. Make them your friend, because that's what makes a difference. And you know, everybody in this room has something deep inside that as they go into this career will mark their destiny, and that's everyone will look at them and say, that man or woman had character. And what does character really mean? I don't know. You know, everybody has a little bit different definition of it, but let me tell you, if you lived in Dallas this week, you knew it when you saw it. And that's what we're here to celebrate, is the future leadership of our nation. Everybody who's under 21, would you please stand? Because sometimes us adults, we need to look to the future and see that's the future. Now, young people, if you believe in America and you believe in what America stands for, let's hear you make some noise.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Serval. We enjoyed your presentation. Next on our agenda is a presentation of the Distinguished Advisor Award. Here to announce the recipient and present the award is Federal Law Enforcement Training Center Director Connie Patrick. Director Connie Patrick was selected in July 2002 as the 5th Director of the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, better known by its acronym FLETC. Previously, Director Patrick spent over 6 years in various FLETC Associate Director positions. She provides oversight for the training of the majority of federal officers and agents. FLETC serves as an interagency law enforcement training organization for 90 federal agencies. FLETC also provides services to state, local, tribal, and international law enforcement agencies. Prior to her appointment as the director of FLETC, Director Patrick completed a distinguished 20-year career as a sworn law enforcement officer in Florida. Director Patrick is active in the community and serves as an advisor to the College of Coastal Georgia Foundation. She is a member of the Interpol Group of Experts of Police Training. Director Patrick is a member and past chair of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee. Director Patrick has received numerous awards, including the Distinguished Presidential Rank Award and the Presidential Meritus Rank Award, and the government's highest civil service awards. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from the University of Central Florida. Let's give a warm welcome to a true friend of law enforcement explorers, Director Connie Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia, for that kind introduction. Can you hear me now? Up there? It was interesting what you said about turn to the person on your right, and if I had looked right, I would have saw the commissioner. And to tell you what a small world it is, I actually attended a narcotics basic training school taught by none other than Gil Kurlikowski, and about 1981, he was my instructor. Who knew that you were going to go on and do great things. But we both were assigned to Florida. He was in St. Petersburg at that time, a lieutenant, and I was a basic special agent with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement at the time. So it's absolutely the truth, and we've worked together ever since. I know that the foundation for the success of law enforcement exploring is built on the advisors, the associate advisors, and other adult leaders who unselfishly give of their time and energy to make this program work. Their dedication, commitment, and devotion to shaping the future leaders of our profession is inspirational and very much appreciated. I would like for all of the advisors and all of the adult leaders here tonight to stand and be recognized. Thank you so much for all that you do for Law Enforcement Exploring. Although every advisor, associate advisor, and other adult leaders work hard to make Law Enforcement Exploring a rewarding experience for each and every explorer, there are some who have taken their service to the next level and have done so over a long period of time. We recognize one or more advisors at every conference who have gone above and beyond the proverbial call of duty to support Law Enforcement Exploring in general and their post in particular. The Distinguished Advisor Award honors those individuals who have contributed extraordinary service to a law enforcement exploring post or post over an extended period of time. I ask all of the recipients of the Distinguished Advisor Award to stand and be recognized at this time. Thank you. Tonight, we are pleased to recognize two outstanding advisors with the Distinguished Advisor Award. Our first recipient has been with Law Enforcement Exploring for over 18 years and served as a post advisor for 14 years. He serves as the coordinator for 6 Law Enforcement Explorer posts sponsored by his department. He started the first middle school Law Enforcement Exploring Club in Maryland and is a member of the executive board for the Potomac Boundaries Advisory Association. He is the recipient of many other department and exploring honors and recognitions, to include being named the Advisor of the Year by the National Capital Area Council. It is my honor and privilege to present the Distinguished Advisor Award to Corporal Conrad DeHady. That might be his post over there. From Prince George's County, Maryland Police Department, and advisor to post 1004. I've asked Commissioner Kurlikowski to join me on stage for the presentation of the award. Corporal DeHady.
Oh my God. Yes, I see it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So welcome.
Congratulations. Thank you again.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I was not expecting that.
Our next recipient, I don't know if you could hear him, he said, "I was not expecting that." What a humble man. Our next recipient has been involved with Law Enforcement Exploring for over 13 years and has served as the post advisor for each of those years. He served for the past 7 years as the program head and coordinator for 9 Law Enforcement Explorer posts, sponsored by his agency and as a committee member and advisor to the Greater New York Regional Law Enforcement Exploring Leadership Academy for many years. Additionally, he developed and initiated an annual academy that focuses on skill and team building for his department's post. He has been the recipient of many department and exploring honors and recognition. It is my honor and privilege to present the Distinguished Advisor Award to Officer Daniel Johannesson of the Nassau County, New York Police Department and advisor to Post 1000. Both Corporal DeHady and Officer Johannesson personify in thought and deed all of the attributes associated with excellence in an advisor and adult leader. Just as importantly, they have mentored and continue to mentor scores of young explorers who will go on to enter the ranks of law enforcement profession. And for that, I want to express my personal appreciation and congratulations to both of you for a job well done. Please join me in giving both of them a hearty round of applause and our thanks for their service.
One, two, three. Prince George's County Sheriff's Office, Post 1696. First in, last out. Toledo Police Post 2028. See you in 2016. Be there.
Again, thank you, Director Connie Patrick. This great radio is made possible by our friends from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. Welcome to the stage, retired Toms River, New Jersey Chief of Police and current Ocean County, New Jersey Sheriff Mike Mastronati, Vice Chair of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee.
Thank you. The next award this evening is Learning for Life Distinguished Service Award. To read the citation and present the award is Mr. Bray Barnes. Bray Barnes served as the National Treasurer and Executive Board Member of Learning for Life and a member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee. He is a distinguished Eagle Scout, a recipient of the BSA's Silver Beaver, Silver Antelope, and Silver Buffalo, and the Learning for Life Distinguished Service Award. He has received 2 United States presidential appointments under the previous administration and later served the Acting Chief of Human Capital Officer for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in Washington, D.C., where he's responsible for all aspects of human resources management for over 210,000 DHS employees. He's also served as chairman of the DHS Law Enforcement Council and First Responder Council. Currently, he is the director of the National Cybersecurity Institute in Washington, D.C. Mr. Barnes has over 25 years' experience in the legal profession, having represented the Federal Air Marshals, various police benevolent associations and fraternal orders of police, as well as the New Jersey State Troopers, fraternal sergeants and superior officers associations. Prior to Mr. Barnes' legal career, he served 11 law enforcement years after graduating from the New Jersey State Police Academy. He's a member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Sheriff's Association, and an associate member of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. Mr. Barnes was commissioned an officer with the United States Army and is a life member of the 101st Airborne Division Association and the Vietnam Veterans of America. He holds a bachelor's degree, summa cum laude, and master's degree from John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and a doctor of jurisprudence from Seton Hall University. Please give a warm welcome to my friend and a man who's dedicated his life to justice and service, Bray Barnes.
Thank you, Sheriff. It was now my pleasure to ask Chief Scout Executive Mike Sarbaugh, Commissioner Kurlikowski, and National Learning for Life Director Diane Thornton to please join me on the stage. Created in 2014 by the National Learning for Life Executive Board, the Learning for Life National Distinguished Service Award recognizes those who have made significant contributions and provided leadership, usually on a national basis, to the Learning for Life and Exploring programs. Since its creation, this award has only been presented 6 times. Tonight, we have the distinct pleasure to present the award to Michael J. Prout. Michael J. Prout, Eagle Scout, dedicated volunteer, distinguished law enforcement professional. Michael Prout began his scouting career as a Cub Scout, later earning his Eagle Scout Award as a member of Troop 10, South Orange, New Jersey. As an adult, he has been in active scouting for more than 18 years, beginning his service as an assistant scoutmaster. In 2005, he provided direct operational support for the U.S. Marshals Service Law Enforcement Leadership Academy, and in 2007, he assumed leadership of the Academy, a position which he still holds today. As a result of Mike's leadership, he became the coordinator for all law enforcement exploring leadership academies, including the DEA, FBI, Secret Service, and the United States Army. In 2006, Mike furthered his support of exploring during the National Law Enforcement Exploring Conference, and from 2008 to 2014, he led the special events for the conference. This year, he serves as the conference director. Mike has been a member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee for 7 years. Since 2014, he has served as vice chair of national events. As vice chair, he has the oversight responsibility for all National Law Enforcement Exploring Leadership Academies, the National Law Enforcement Exploring Conferences, and the National Law Enforcement Exploring Pistol Championship. Mike is a dedicated volunteer. He works with his daughter's Girl Scout troop, and for the last 5 years has served as the events director for the U.S. Marshals Golf Classic, an annual event that has raised more than $150,000 in support of the U.S. Marshals Benefit Fund, providing financial and educational support to the survivors of those law enforcement officers who died in the line of duty. Professionally, Mike has had a distinguished 24-year career with the United States Marshal Service. Currently, he served as Assistant Director, leading the Witness Security Division, which oversees security, protection, relocation of new identities for over 18,000 protected witnesses and their families. Previously, Mike has served as the Assistant Director, Judicial Security, and has provided leadership to numerous events, including the civil security for removal of detainees from Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, security during the 2002 Winter Games in Utah, security of key government officials following September 11th, 2001, and lead protection role in the 2004 presidential inauguration. Mr. Proud has earned his bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Marist College in New York, his master's degree in management from the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, and he has successfully completed Senior Managementship Institute for Police in Boston. Mike and his family reside in Washington, D.C. And I'm just going to step off script for a minute. Just before we came to the podium, Mike asked me that I please let everybody know, although this is a personal award that he receives, he's receiving it on behalf of each and every volunteer in this room. It is with great pleasure that the National Learning for Life Executive Board presents the Distinguished Learning for Life Service Award to Michael J. Prout.
Each year, the American Association of State Troopers presents its National Trooper of the Year Award to a state trooper who exemplified the traits of an outstanding law enforcement officer in the previous year. Troopers from around the country are nominated by the leader of their department, and a panel of judges from our association selects the winner. Here to present the award to you tonight is Captain John J. Bagnardi from the Florida Highway Patrol, who serves as the American Association of State Troopers of Florida State Director and also as the chairman of the Trooper of the Year Committee. Assisting Captain Bagnardi with the presentation will be retired Major Kenneth L. Spears from the Florida Highway Patrol, who serves as the Executive Director for the American Association of the State Troopers.
Thank you. What a great event. And thank you for allowing us to present this prestigious award. I'd like to also ask to come up on stage the Command Staff of the Arizona Department of Public Safety, Colonel Millstat. Come on, Colonel, she can done primping you later. Lieutenant Colonel Ken Hunter, Assistant Director of the Criminal Investigative Division, Major Jenna Mitchell, also of that division. And over on my left, again, Executive Director Ken Spears. And instead of looking at me, I want you to look at our recipient tonight, and we'll get to that, which is Trooper Jeremy Barr and his family. They're probably mad at me because I asked them to come up too early. But Kelly, Katie, and Ty. And as the intro said, it gives me great pleasure to announce the recipient of the American Association of State Troopers 2016 Trooper of the Year Award to Trooper Jeremy Barr of the Arizona Department of Public Safety. The American Association of State Troopers recognized Trooper Barr's heroic actions by naming him the 2016 AAST National Troop of the Year for, I'm going to read it, the incident, because you may obviously from around the country not know what transpired. But on August 22nd, 2015, at approximately 5:54 in the morning, Trooper Barr responded to a call of a wrong-way vehicle north of Phoenix on Interstate 17 at milepost 244. The call indicated a vehicle was traveling northbound in the southbound lanes of the two-lane roadway at approximately 70 miles an hour. Interstate 17, even in the early hours of the morning, has considerable traffic, and as Trooper Barr responded, he conducted a traffic brake using his lights and siren to prevent unnecessary risks to the public from the wrong-way vehicle. As Trooper Barr approached milepost 255, he observed the wrong-way vehicle, a Ford F-150 pickup truck, still traveling northbound in the southbound lanes. Interstate 17 at milepost 255 is located in a mountainous region between Phoenix and Flagstaff, and there are only 2 lanes dedicated for southbound traffic. Due to its geographical location, the section of road has a blind curve with a rock berm bordering its western side and a rock ledge bordering the eastern side. The combined factors allow little room for maneuvering and avoiding hazards. Without hesitation, Trooper Barr continued toward the wrong-way driver with his lights and siren activated, knowingly placing himself between an active lethal threat and innocent motorists. Although his fully marked police vehicle had his lights illuminated, the wrong-way driver continued to approach Trooper Barr's location. Trooper Barr was faced with the choice of letting the driver pass him and collide with unsuspecting motorists, or take the defensive action and end the threat before any tragic events could take place. Trooper Barr made a conscious, calculated decision and took action to save the lives of motorists behind him. As the wrong-way vehicle came head-on towards him, Trooper Barr skillfully drove the left front corner of his Chevy Tahoe into the pickup truck's left front corner. The resulting impact effectively crippled both vehicles, and the velocity of the impact successfully pushed the truck into the rock ledge. Trooper Barr's selfless actions and sound judgment not only prevented the truck from continuing into an oncoming traffic, but certainly prevented serious injuries or death from those traveling behind him. Trooper Barr's heroic actions came with a personal cost. He received extensive injuries, included 7 herniated discs in his back, a fractured vertebrae, a broken neck, and injuries to his shoulder and kidney. Trooper Barr's injuries are so severe, he hasn't been able to return to active duty, and speaking with him today, may retire. Colonel says he's twisting some arms, but the driver of the wrong-way vehicle was treated and released from Honor Health Deer Valley Medical Center. He was booked in the Maricopa County Jail facility for aggravated assault and endangerment and criminal damage. It was also determined the driver was intoxicated at the time of the collision. Trooper Barr has not only been loyally served the citizens of Arizona as a state trooper, but also served with the Phoenix Police Department and is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. Again, assist me in congratulating Trooper Barr on his recipient of the AAST National Trooper of the Year Award. Trooper Barr.
The next portion of our program is the presentation of our scholarship awards, which will be presented by Kent Jeffries, Supervisory Agent in Charge, Federal Air Marshal Service, and Member and Vice Chair for Liaison and Development of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee. Kent joined the Federal Air Marshal Service in August of 2002 as a result of the attacks on 9/11. He has held key management positions in the headquarters offices of Field Operations, Flight Operations, Mission Support, and Training. His law enforcement career began in 1969 as a member of Post 21, sponsored by the Des Moines, Iowa Police Department. He continued his career as a clerk at FBI headquarters, a police officer in Fairfax County, Virginia, and a special agent with the United States Secret Service. During his 21-year career with the Secret Service, he conducted criminal investigations while assigned to the Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Richmond field offices. He served in the Counter-Assault Team, the Vice Presidential Protective Division, and the Office of Training. He was a supervisor on the Presidential Protective Division, where he conducted critical incident management at the White House complex. His earliest claim to fame came in 1973, when he was elected as the first National Law Enforcement Exploring Youth Chairman, a position known today as the National Youth Representative. During his term, he designated the law enforcement emblem you currently wear on your uniform. It was adopted by the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee in 1974. He has participated in 12 National Law Enforcement Exploring Conferences. He's an example to each of us as to how we can succeed individually and collectively in the field of law enforcement. He's also an example of a former explorer continuing to give back to those who follow. Please give a warm welcome to Special Agent in Charge, Kent Jeffries.
Thank you, everybody. Our first scholarship award presentation this evening is for the Lieutenant James E. Brining Scholarship. Lieutenant Brining was a tireless advocate of law enforcement exploring. He understood and appreciated the program's dedication to building character while advocating quality policing. Lieutenant Brining was a founding advisor of Post 21, chartered by the Des Moines, Iowa Police Department in 1965, which happened to be the post which I belonged to. Jim was a dedicated advisor, a caring mentor, a true friend. He remained a steadfast supporter of law enforcement exploring for his entire adult life. Upon his passing, the James E. Brining Scholarship Foundation was established in his honor to continue his unyielding support to law enforcement exploring by providing scholarships to deserving explorers. Please direct your attention to the screen for a short video presentation.
In 1966, Lieutenant James Brining, then a young police officer, was recruited to be the advisor of the Des Moines Police Explorer Post number 21. What he accepted developed into a lifelong love and commitment to the youth program and its explorers, spanning 37 years. Jim and his explorers quickly established themselves as leaders of innovation in the hands-on workplace program that put teenagers together with police officers in hopes of creating a better understanding between them. Jim understood that not all explorers would seek careers in law enforcement, but he hoped that they would be better citizens from the experience. It was in that effort that he had explorers ride along with police officers on a regular basis dating back to the 1960s. He also supported his explorer chiefs through the years when they advocated for an active firearms safety and marksmanship program that grew into a traveling pistol team. In 1971, Post number 21 created a week-long in-residence Law Enforcement Explorer Academy, which later grew into a regional academy with participation from many other posts. Each year, Jim made it possible for many explorers to travel on the post's bus to visit other law enforcement agencies throughout the U.S. and Canada. Through his hard work and keen interpersonal skills, he crafted fundraising events that made these trips affordable to all explorers who came from many different backgrounds. Jim drove the post's bus filled with explorer leaders to the first National Explorer President's Congress in Washington, D.C. in April 1971. This event lit the spark that was to become Jim's major contribution to law enforcement exploring after his explorer chief, Kent Jeffries, was elected the first national law enforcement youth representative in 1973. Together, Jim and Kent traveled the U.S., spending their own time and money to build a consensus that a National Association of Law Enforcement Explorers was needed to fully promote the successful partnership of law enforcement agencies and exploring. As a result, a National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee was formed with Chief Richard Clement, President of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, as its first chairman. H. Stuart Knight, Director of the U.S. Secret Service, and other prominent leaders joined in, and within the first year, the association was recognized by the National Exploring Committee and its emblem, designed by Jeffries, was adopted as the Law Enforcement Exploring logo. In 1977, Jim provided another leader when Robert Tompkins was elected the 4th National Youth Representative. During his term, Tompkins helped lay the foundation for the first National Law Enforcement Explorer Conference, held in 1979, which has continued successfully for over 30 years.
Hi, Jim Brining. Hello, Jim. How you doing, Big Wilbur?
Hi, Sergeant Brining.
In addition to being a father to 3 great daughters and devoted husband to his wife Barbara, Jim became a father figure to hundreds of law enforcement explorers from across the country on a distinctly personal level, and thousands of others by association. Jim championed the movement which brought teenagers and law enforcement back together after the turbulent times of the 1960s. And for his tireless efforts, he was recognized with top awards: the Boy Scouts of America Silver Beaver Award and Exploring's William H. Spurgeon Award.
I remember back in the early 80s, I was parking cars at the fair, and I parked a row of cars, and I followed the wrong line. Instead of following a straight line, I followed a cricket line, and I had a whole cricket line of cars, and the whole area was cricket. And Jim got mad and yelled at me.
What did he call you?
My second father yelled at me.
National law enforcement's exploring roots can be traced in large part to Lieutenant James Brining. His friends and family choose to pick up the mantle he left us, to continue to promote law enforcement exploring and its ideals of character, leadership, love of country, and family by offering this scholarship award. Thank you, Jim.
The Mayor and the Des Moines City Council hereby memorialize formally and officially recognize the contributions of Lieutenant James E. Brining.
It is now my honor to introduce the 2016 recipient of the Lieutenant James E. Brining Scholarship Award. Please welcome Explorer Dennis Stack IV from Post 105, sponsored by the Marlborough Township, New Jersey Police Department. Joining me on stage to present Explorer Stack with his award is Jim's widow, Barbara, their daughters, Dawn, Wendy, Kara, Drew Burham, Assistant Director of the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy and one of the founding advisors of Post 21, and a fellow explorer and now staff member, Brett Morrison, both on the Brining Foundation. Brett is Senior Director of Global Security for the Walmart Corporation, and through his efforts for the last 16 years, the conference has enjoyed water, so I think that's pretty important. Thank you. Dennis, thank you very much. Our next scholarship presentation is the Hispanic American Police Command Officers Association Scholarship for Law Enforcement Explorers. The Hispanic American Police Command Officers Association, also identified by the acronym HAPCOA, was established in 1973. It is the oldest and largest association in the United States of Hispanic American command officers from law enforcement and criminal justice agencies at the municipal, county, state, and federal levels. As part of its mission statement and goals, HAPCOA seeks to offer training and educational programs designed to increase recruitment and selection of qualified Hispanic Americans into the law enforcement and criminal justice careers. It is with this goal in mind that HAPCOA sponsors an annual merit-based scholarship award for the law enforcement explorers of Hispanic ancestry. It is now my honor to present the Hispanic American Police Command Officers Association Scholarship for law enforcement explorers to Explorer Rebecca Long of the Phoenix, Arizona Police Post 2906. Come on down. Joining me on stage with Explorer Long is her advisor, Detective Doug Burrow from the Phoenix Police Department, and CBP Supervisory Officer Jose Venegas. Are we looking for, are we waiting? She's way up. Oh, here we are. Okay. Let's get a wave going. No? Come on. We've got to do a better job of getting our recipients a little closer. That's it. All right. Excellent. Our next presentation is the Captain James J. Regan Memorial Scholarship. In 1974, Pennsylvania State Police Captain James J. Regan organized a group of law enforcement professionals who specialized in providing technical support for investigations and formed the National Technical Investigators Association, also known by the acronym NATIA. NATIA is a nonprofit, all-volunteer professional organization composed of United States and Canadian law enforcement and intelligence officers from various local, state, provincial, federal, and military agencies. The purpose of the association is to develop the professionalism of the members by furthering their skills and knowledge in the areas of technical surveillance, law enforcement, and forensic activities through the offering of special training, the interagency exchange of ideas and experiences to assist in the implementation of new techniques and equipment in law enforcement community. In 1990, at NATIA's National Conference, the membership unanimously approved establishing a merit-based scholarship in the name of its late founder, Captain James J. Regan, in keeping with his philosophy of excellence through education. 2 such scholarships are presented at each national conference. It is now my honor to present the Captain James J. Regan Memorial Scholarship to Vincent Mazzola from Post 9269, sponsored by the St. Louis, Missouri Metropolitan Police Department. Joining me on stage with Explorer Mazzola is his advisor, Lieutenant Darla Gray from the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. The second recipient of the Captain James J. Regan Memorial Scholarship is Kimberly Wiley from Post 2600, sponsored by the Copley Township, Ohio Police Department. Unfortunately, Explorer Wiley could not be with us at the conference. We congratulate her on her selection for the scholarship and wish her well. Our next presentation is the Cheryl A. Horak Law Enforcement Explorer Memorial Scholarship. In 1985, 15-year-old Cheryl Ann Horak joined Explorer Post 961, sponsored by the Bettendorf, Iowa Police Department. She participated in a wide range of post activities over the next 2 years and advanced to the rank of Explorer Lieutenant. On April 25th, 1987, while participating in a ride-along, Cheryl was tragically shot and killed by a deranged individual. Later that year, the Cheryl A. Horak Explorer Memorial Scholarship was created to memorialize Cheryl's contributions to law enforcement exploring and honor her goal to serve as a law enforcement professional by providing a merit-based scholarship to deserving law enforcement explorers. It is now my honor to present the Cheryl A. Horak Memorial Scholarship to Melissa May Hetzel from Post 9910, sponsored by the Hartford, Wisconsin Police Department. Joining me on stage with Explorer Hetzel is her advisor, Lieutenant James Zawicki from the Hartford Police Department. We might need another wave for just a second. Waving. Okay, we're waving. Catch a wave. Excellent. Do we have one? I don't see anything. Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap up. We're going to catch up with Melissa very shortly. Please join me in giving a hearty round of applause to all of our scholarship award recipients tonight. Thank you very much.
Again, congratulations to all our scholarship award recipients. Explorers, advisors, and guests, please welcome to the stage retired Chief of Police Vid Mucinex, a member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee and Chair of the Proficiency Awards and Recognition Subcommittee.
I have to turn some pages. Sing some songs or something. 53? Got it. You're done. You're done now. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee at its April 2015 meeting approved Law Enforcement Exploring Special Recognition Awards for valor, bravery, life-saving, and meritorious service. These awards are exclusive for law enforcement explorers who have performed an extraordinary action demonstrating valor, bravery, life-saving, or meritorious service during the course of their exploring activities or in a personal capacity. The Medal of Valor, Bravery Award, Life-Saving Award, and Meritorious Service Award are only awarded upon recommendation of the post advisor and the respective chief of police, sheriff, or head of the agency, and only after the Proficiency Awards and Recognitions Subcommittee confirms the criteria has been met for the particular award. I can assure you that the criteria validation process for each award is thorough to ensure each award is presented only to a truly deserving explorer. Each special recognition award includes a medal, a service ribbon, and a certificate that contains a narrative of the actions that resulted in the award being approved. It is my distinct honor and privilege tonight to present 3 special recognition awards, 2 for life-saving and 1 for bravery that will be presented posthumously. The Law Enforcement Exploring Special Recognitions Award for Bravery is being presented posthumously. It's being presented in Explorer Michael Lawson's honor, who was a member of Post 2100, sponsored by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Accepting the award for the late Explorer Lawson is his advisor, Supervisor CBP Officer Justin Burrell. Oh, okay. I would also ask, well, and Justin is right there, I would also ask A.D. Prout, who is right there center, so I'm not going to introduce him, to your turn.
It is my turn, Bede. This award is being presented based on the following extraordinary action. Explorer Michael Lawson was a member of Law Enforcement Exploring Post number 2100, sponsored by the Plattsburgh, New York office of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. On June 26, 2014, Explorer Lawson was swimming with friends at the Flume Falls on the Ausable River in the area of Wilmington, New York. The river currents were stronger than normal due to recent rainfall, and Explorer Lawson noticed one of his friends was in distress and struggling against the current to make it back to shore. Explorer Lawson, who was on shore at the time, did not hesitate to react and, without regard for his own safety, jumped into the river in an effort to save his friend. Unfortunately, Explorer Lawson and his friends were overpowered by the strong and swift current and both tragically lost their lives. Explorer Lawson consistently demonstrated his initiative, selflessness, and courage, determination, and strong values in all aspects of his life. He enjoyed being an explorer and learning law enforcement and leadership skills. In recognition of his extraordinary act of bravery at a moment of clear and obvious danger, and without regard to personal risk, Explorer Lawson is posthumously represented with the Law Enforcement Exploring Bravery Award.
At this time, I would request if Advisor Paul Alessandri of the Hillsborough County, Florida Sheriff's Department, if he is in presence, if he would come to our stage this side. Is that you? Yes, sir. Go back down. You're not. I don't want you yet. But thanks for being here, man. The Law Enforcement Exploring Special Recognitions Award for Life Saving is being presented to Explorer David Kim from post number 908, sponsored by the Scottsdale, Arizona Police Department. This award is presented based upon the following extraordinary actions. Explorer Kim, please join me on the stage, as well as Scottsdale Chief of Police Alan Rodbell and Advisor Sergeant Daniel Kirkopoulos. Are they here? Yeah, they're here. Cool. Dead center, you guys.
Explorer Jacob Urson is a member of Law Enforcement Exploring Post number 556, sponsored by the Indian River, Florida County Sheriff's Office. On January 23, 2016, in Vero Beach, Florida, Explorer Urson was informed that a car had just crashed into a neighborhood retention pond. He reported the incident to a 911 dispatcher while running to the accident site. Upon reaching the site, he observed the vehicle was 50 yards into the pond and, without regard for his own safety, immediately removed his boots, sweatshirt, and shirt and dove into the 22-foot deep water. The water was 57 degrees and the ambient air temperature was 48 degrees with winds at 20 miles per hour. Once he reached the car, he pounded on the window and was handed a 2-year-old child by the child's mother, who was in the vehicle with the child's father. Explorer Urson swam with the child to the shore where they were helped from the frigid waters and transported to a hospital where they both were treated for hypothermia. The child and mother survived, but the child's father lost his life. In recognition of his heroic act of life-saving under extraordinary circumstances, Explorer Urson is presented with the Law Enforcement Exploring Life-Saving Award.
We read the wrong thing?
Yes.
Let's step back for just a second.
Just a moment. Is this what they just read?
So we get Urson next. Yeah, okay.
That was Urson, but that was David Kim.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're just going to go do David. Minor glitch about that big. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer some humor to some really serious things because that's what I've done to survive law enforcement for almost 35 years. Minor glitch, we had the wrong citation that was written. So David Kim was here, but I believe Explorer Urson's, Jacob Urson's citation was it. Is that what you recall? Help me out here. Okay. Thank you. So let's just do this. We're going to do, I want to read David Kim's citation, because that was not read. Is that correct? Explorer Sergeant David Kim is a member of Law Enforcement Explorer Post number 908, sponsored by the Scottsdale, Arizona. We did that one, right? Disregard. No, yes, no? You know, we're not going to get out of here tonight because I'm messing it up horrifically, but it's okay. I can go home early if... Which one did we read? Read both of them? No? Okay. Cease. Help me out here, man.
Certainly.
Okay. Which one do I have to read?
Step over here.
Yeah, I won't be right. Good.
Explorer Sergeant David Kim, who was standing up here a moment ago, is a member of Law Enforcement Explorer Post 908.
I was right.
Yes, continue reading that.
Got it.
Your last chance, Chief, you're off the committee.
Start here.
Start here. Okay, right where the finger is. On January 25th, 2016, in Scottsdale, Arizona, Explorer Kim was at his place of employment when he was notified of a serious accident on the street. A car had struck a motorist, causing severe injuries to her leg. Explorer Kim rushed to the scene of the accident and observed the motorist was bleeding severely from her upper leg and had a partially severed foot. Explorer Kim ran back into his work location where he retrieved an apron and returned to the injured motorcyclist, at which time he used the apron to form a tourniquet above the leg wound to stop the bleeding. Explorer Kim continued to render first aid and comfort to the motorcyclist until an emergency medical services unit arrived. Explorer Kim's emergency medical service training and fast actions were credited with saving the life of the motorcyclist. A firefighter who responded to the scene as part of the emergency medical services unit stated, quote, "If not for the tourniquet, the motorcyclist would have bled out," end quote. And in recognition of this heroic act of life-saving under extraordinary circumstances, Explorer Kim is presented with the Law Enforcement Explorer Life-Saving Award. And so we've done, yeah, he's coming back for the grip and grin, you guys.
We're going to make it right.
So can we get the other right? We need to give it to this
Let's do it. Let's keep going.
All right, we're going to keep on going because what I would like to have is Advisor Paul Alessandri of the Hillsborough County, Florida Sheriff's Department. He's an advisor, and I would like to present this award because Explorer Urson was not able to attend here. This is a grip and grin.
Grip and grin?
Grip and grin.
All right.
I'll run over side here. That's all he's got? Thank you for your understanding, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm done, aren't I? Second. Yeah, I'm done. Somebody else come on stage, okay?
My sincere apologies for that confusion, everyone. Explorers and advisors, please welcome to the stage ATF Special Agent Michael Knight, the 1984 National Youth Chairman for Law Enforcement Exploring, member of the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee, and chair of the National Youth Representatives Coordination Subcommittee.
Thank you, Cindy. One of the most important decisions you'll make at this conference will be to elect 2 explorers who will represent you in Law Enforcement Committee throughout the next 2 years. The National Youth Representative and the Vice National Youth Representative, which will each serve a 2-year term. They are your voice in the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee and represent law enforcement exploring at meetings and events throughout the country. The National Youth Representative Selection Committee worked very tirelessly over the last few months with all the applicants that were submitted. And I really thank them for their hard work, their dedication in coming up with the 3 top candidates, which made my job a lot easier. Tonight, each of the candidates will make a short presentation, not to exceed 3 minutes, during which they will tell themselves about their law enforcement experience and why you should vote for them. Each post attending the conference will be entitled to 1 vote, which will be submitted through the Guidebook phone app. Guidebook phone app. Yes, this is an advertisement. After listening to the candidates and meeting them or their representatives at the career fair tomorrow and Wednesday, you should meet as a post and decide how you're going to cast your post ballot. Voting will be conducted on Thursday through the Guidebook phone app. Guidebook phone app, that's where voting will be conducted through. The candidate receiving the most votes will be elected your National Youth Representative, and the runner-up will become the next Vice National Youth Representative. The 2016-2018 National Youth Representatives will be announced and installed at the closing show on Friday night. So our first candidate is Explorer Leah Barton from Kennesaw, Georgia. She is a member of Post 5, sponsored by the Cobb County, Georgia Police Department.
Hey guys, who's excited to be here tonight? So, my name is Leah Barton, and I'm from Kennesaw, Georgia, and I'm a sergeant with the Cobb County Police Explorers. I joined just over 2 years ago and fell in love with the program right away. I have met tons of amazing people and all of my best friends through the program, all while receiving amazing training along the way. Explorers has impacted my life in such a positive way, and I just want to give back to the program that has given so much to me. Elect me to be your National Youth Representative, and I will make it my goal that every single Explorer has as good, if not even better, of an experience that I've had. Unfortunately, in today's society, law enforcement is not as glamorous and as appreciated as it once was. So I just want to commend each and every one of you for being here and sticking to it and working to make your dreams become a reality. Because we are the future of law enforcement. With that being said, I just want to take a minute to thank all officers. Whether they're in this room or back at home, thank you all for everything that you do. There's a lot of people in this room tonight. Trust me, I'm looking out at everybody and it amazes me how many of you there actually are. It's awesome. However, I feel that if we advertise and market Explorers even more, we can double it, if not even triple the amount of people here. As National Youth Representative, that is something I would strive for. I want to be there for you guys. In order to achieve this, we need to stay in contact with each other. So I want to create a system that makes every single Explorer's voice to be heard, so that all of y'all have the best exploring experience possible. Henry Ford once said, "Coming together is a beginning, staying together is a progress, and working together is a success." If I'm elected, I will bring Explorers together, not only to stay together, but to work together, because that truly is what success is. Elect me, Leah Barton, as your National Youth Representative. Our success begins now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Leah. Our second candidate is Explorer Zach Paul from Blaine, Minnesota. He is a member of Post 3939, sponsored by the Blaine, Minnesota Police Department.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, explorers, advisors, members of the board, and distinguished guests. It is with great honor to be speaking in front of you tonight. I want to start with a simple question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Maybe you're starting a family, starting a career, or maybe you're just finishing school. I personally see myself as a law enforcement officer for the city of Blaine. And every day before I start my shift, before roll call, I sit and think about what I bring to the table, what makes me different from everybody else, and how I will answer the call to action. I am currently the administrative captain for the Blaine Police Explorers, the youth chairman for the Board of Advisors for the Northern Star Council, which is in Minnesota, so don't worry about it, and your 2016 Midwest Law Enforcement Exploring Regional Youth Representative. As Midwest Regional Youth Representative, I have acquired the skills that have taught me what it means to be a leader on the national level. The leadership and responsibility that these positions require have prepared me for the leadership and responsibility required as your National Youth Representative. As your 2016 National Youth Representative, one of my goals is to focus on teamwork and fellowship. To accomplish this, I'm going to use technology to our greatest advantage, due to the distance that separates us as individual posts. By creating an Explorer-only email address, you would be able to share ideas, thoughts, news, and suggestions about your Explorer careers directly to me, your National Youth Representative. Another way we can achieve this goal is by revamping our current YouTube channel, by providing you with short weekly updates of what's going on in the Explorer world, in which you would be able to comment on and share your thoughts on the information provided that week. Before I was an Explorer, I was born and raised into a drug-driven family, with my mother and father suffering from addiction, in and out of treatment, and for me, in and out of foster care. When my mother finally regained custody of me, my school liaison reached out to me and gave me information on the Explorer program. I applied, and they happily accepted me with open arms, despite my past, and became my second family. To this day, I still cannot imagine where I would be if I was never given the opportunity to meet my second family. The National Youth Representative position is my opportunity to represent law enforcement exploring and ensure that I can help create the same experience that I have had for you and others like you. So I leave you with a quote from Maya Angelou. "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. Please remember that your difficulties do not define you. They simply strengthen your ability to overcome." Thank you very much.
Thanks, Zach. And our third candidate is Explorer Tyler Scott from Crown Point, Indiana. He is a member of Post 2950, sponsored by the Lansing, Illinois Police Department.
Explorers, advisors, and distinguished guests, I would like to welcome you to the 2016 Law Enforcement Exploring Conference. My name is Cadet Tyler Scott with the Lansing Police Department. I'm a sergeant with our Post 2950 out of Lansing, Illinois. Today I've had the opportunity to meet many great people all the way from New York, all the way to California, and CBP. And I look forward to meeting as many of you as I can. If you get the chance to talk to me, you will find that my philosophy surrounds around three main points: faith, family, and future. Faith, not only in the Almighty One to bring us home at the end of the night, but also faith in the ability to do the right thing in tough situations. There are many issues facing us law enforcement family now, mainly centering around social justice and our ability to connect with our communities. But I have the faith in all of us to do the right thing. And family. We have a regular family at home that provides us with support, but we also have a law enforcement family that does the same thing. From day one, you have entered into a family who will always have your back, and everyone in this room is part of that family and a part of my family. And future. Those of us at this conference, we are the future of law enforcement. We have the power to unite together and provide new solutions to the issues facing us in today's society. Law enforcement has a very negative view right now, and we are the group that can help change that. Now I'd like to take a few moments to outline what I would like to accomplish as your National Youth Representative. Using social media is going to be key. I don't believe that we're using it to its fullest potential, and if elected, I plan on working with the National Law Enforcement Exploring Committee to establish a social media site. That site would allow for explorers nationwide to communicate in a safe and secure environment without those individuals with less than honorable intentions. I'd also like to implement a direct message page for posts to have direct contact with the National Committee, where they can bring their questions, comments, and concerns, and receive a review and a reply in a timely manner. I'd also like to establish regional representatives. These representatives would represent areas of the nation, and this would not only increase but also create a better flow of communication from the National Committee down through the posts. Lastly, through personal experience, I've come to realize that everybody trains in different ways. There's no standardized nationalized standard for training. And if elected, I would like to work with the International Association of Chiefs of Police to provide easy access to their training guides, which are currently used in the judging criteria. These keys would serve as the national standard for training and would level out the playing field. So if this is your first time at nationals, or if you have been here for many years, if you have a post full of rookies or veterans, you would all have the same opportunity. Finally, throughout this week, let's keep the officers and the families of the Dallas and other police departments who have been victimized by the recent heinous acts in our thoughts and prayers. It has been a tough year for our law enforcement family. I look forward to meeting and talking with as many of you as I can. I want to be your voice, and together we can be the faith, family, future of law enforcement. Thank you, everyone. Good luck with your competitions. God bless, and God bless America.
Let's give another round of applause to your three candidates for the National Youth Representative. Please take the opportunity to engage these candidates at the career fair and other activities around the conference tomorrow and Wednesday. And look at these candidates, meet with them, meet with the representatives, and meet with your post to finally decide on who to cast your vote. Where? On the Guidebook phone app, which all of you are going to download. Election information will be forthcoming in the BOLO, which will be again on the Guidebook phone app. Thank you.